Welcome back. Today we're talking about something simple, yet deeply transformative: the way you treat yourself. We've all heard it before: be kind to others. It's something most of us genuinely try to live by. But today I want to ask you a different question. Are you kind to yourself? Take a moment with that, because today we're going to dive into something many of us rarely stop to notice: the words we say to ourselves. Have you ever truly listened to your inner dialogue? Not just a thought in passing, but really paused and heard the tone, the language, the energy behind it? Here's my invitation to you. For the next week, just listen. No judgment, no fixing, just awareness. Notice what you say to yourself throughout the day. And as you do, gently ask, is this voice actually mine? Or does it sound like someone I've known? Maybe a parent, a teacher, a past experience? And then ask yourself something even more powerful. Would I ever say this to my best friend? Because many of us live by the old saying, I am my own worst critic, right? But, but what if that didn't have to be true? What if, instead of being your worst critic, you became your biggest cheerleader? Imagine how different your life could feel. A huge part of transforming your mindset begins with how you speak to yourself. Is your inner dialogue positive or negative? If it's positive, truly, congratulations. That's a beautiful and powerful place to be. And if it's negative, welcome, not to something wrong, but to something powerful. Because awareness is where transformation begins. This journey of self-awareness had deepened for me when I was introduced to the 8 limbs of yoga. The first concept are the yamas, which are ethical restraints that guide us how we act, speak, and think. Ahimsa, it means non-harming. Ahimsa invites us to practice non-violence, not just toward others, but toward ourselves, in our actions, our words, and our thoughts. Think about that. How often are we unintentionally harming ourselves with our own inner voice? The second concept I want to share is from the Niyamas, which are the personal observances that focus on self-discipline, self-care, and cultivating a healthy inner world. The Niyama I'd love to introduce is Svadhyaya, which means self-study. I first learned about this during yoga teacher training, and as I began practicing it, I was in shock when I began to realize just how harshly I spoke to myself. And that awareness was my first step. I began to listen more closely, to get curious instead of critical. Where were these thoughts coming from? Were they even true? And when I noticed the negative self-talk become loud, I chose to treat it with compassion. I began using a mantra, and that mantra was Om Durgaye Namaha. It's a mantra dedicated to invoke the energy of the Hindu goddess Durga to remove suffering, overcome obstacles, and provide protection against negative forces. For me, it became an anchor. I started using it during a time when I was deeply burnt out, carrying grief from life changes, and feeling a lot of anger. And in those moments, when the negative thoughts would arise out of nowhere, I would repeat that mantra softly, steadily, bringing myself back to strength, calm, inner peace. Now, your mantra doesn't have to be the same, of course. It can be anything that grounds you, supports you, uplifts you, brings you back to yourself. It could be something as simple as I am safe. I am learning. I am enough. The words themselves matter less than the intention behind them. So today, I leave you with this. Listen to yourself. Notice your inner voice and begin to gently shift from criticism to compassion. Because kindness isn't just something we give to others, it's something we deserve to give to ourselves every single day. Thank you for being here.